when and how to say no. People often ask how to set boundaries, when to say yes, and how to say no. The question usually comes from exhaustion, from people who feel stretched thin, from doing everything for everyone else and then slowly burning out. The advice they hear is simple: say no more, protect your time, put boundaries into place. But that advice often misses the point. Much of what is promoted under the banner of boundaries feels misaligned through the lens of extreme ownership. Even the language itself suggests separation. Boundaries sound like walls, barriers, lines drawn between people, and that runs counter to cover and move, which is about strengthening relationships, not creating distance. Some of the examples shared publicly reinforce this concern. One that stands out clearly: a scenario where a friend arrives late to meet you. The suggested response is to confront them directly and explain how disrespected you feel. The focus is entirely on their failure, their behaviour, their lack of consideration. That approach might feel justified in the moment, but it is rooted in ego. It assigns blame instead of ownership, and more often than not, it damages the relationship rather than improving the outcome. Our natural tendency is to do just that, to explain why someone else is wrong, why they should know better, why their behaviour caused the problem. But when we let those instincts lead, we sacrifice influence. We may feel heard, but we lose alignment, and alignment is what actually solves problems. As I spend more time studying this topic, something became clear. The idea of boundaries is not the issue. The issue is how they are applied. When understood correctly, boundaries align closely with extreme ownership. They simply need to be approached discipline and intent. Boundaries are not a first response, they are a last resort. Like accountability, boundaries should only be used after other leadership tools have been exhausted. If you find yourself immediately drawing lines, it is often a sign that steps have been missed. Before setting boundaries, detach, step back from emotion, and remove ego. Try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. Ask what might be driving their behaviour. From there, ask earnest questions, not questions designed to trap or accuse, but questions you genuinely want answers to. Questions that help you understand what is really happening. That understanding often reveals where you can take ownership. Ownership is the turning point. Ask yourself how you contributed to that situation, what you failed to explain, what assumptions that you made, what clarity did you not provide. Correct those mistakes first. Often, that alone resolves the issue. If the problem continues, directness can increase, not abruptly, but tactically. Adjust expectations, clarify timing, offer alternatives that preserve the relationship while addressing the issue. Most situations resolve here. If they do not, you may reach a point where a boundary is necessary. But before you set it, ask one question: is this issue worth the potential cost to the relationship? Because boundaries can change relationships, sometimes permanently. There are moments when that risk is justified, but they are rare. That decision deserves careful thought. Through this process, one thing stands out: healthy boundaries are not about controlling others, they are about controlling yourself. In its truest form, setting boundaries is an act of self-discipline. Not imposed discipline, self-discipline. You cannot control other people's behavior. You can only control your actions, your choices, and your priorities. That is where boundaries belong. A simple example makes this clear. I have a rule for myself in the evenings. Dinner time and bedtime are family time. Work stops, but I do not ignore messages. I do not tell people not to contact me. I simply choose how I respond. That boundary is not something I enforce on others. It is a discipline that I hold for myself. This approach preserves flexibility. It preserves relationships, and it creates the balance that many people are actually seeking when they are talking about boundaries. The final piece is respect. Just as important as setting boundaries for yourself is respecting the boundaries of others, often without them ever having to say a word. Listening, observing, adjusting. Those behaviours build trust. They demonstrate care and they strengthen relationships. In the end, the answer to when to say yes and how to say no is not found in walls or ultimatums. It is found in ownership, in self-discipline, in communication. Say yes to responsibility for your own behaviour. Say yes to respecting others. Say no only when all other options have been exhausted, and only when the cost is worth it. Boundaries used correctly do not divide. They can strengthen relationships through respect. Influence and respect is what sustains strong relationships over time.